All right. What is going on? This is our first emergency podcast.
Yes.
We usually do this Wednesday, Fridays. But yeah, first emergency podcast just because a lot happened today. I'm Andrew Pasquini, Jason Aponte to my left or right, and still don't know. And I'm honestly too tired to care and figure it out. It's been a very long 24 plus hours for 49er football, for 49er Twitter, for whatever you want to say. But we are here. Yes, so I wore a Bills hat for a reason because I would rather have people ask me about why I'm wearing a Bills hat than ask me some question about the 49ers that I don't want to deal with. The short answer is I like logos. I have a lot of different hats. I have hockey hats. I don't even watch hockey. I just like logos, and the Bills have a very good logo. So that's the reason. It has been a tough year, Ben. I appreciate it. So
we'll get to it all.
We're gonna get to it.
Yeah.
It's been an eventful day, and actually, let's start with what might actually be the biggest news out of the day today that kind of got swept under. Are the 49ers playing on Thursday?
Yes, I think so.
That's the plan right now.
Right, as long as see, it's so weird, right? Because they, the team, the NFL did, gymnastics to, help out the Chiefs and the Patriots when Patriots when Cam had it, but AJ Dillon has it. So I mean, I don't think that it's gonna. The thing is, it's hard to flex from Thursday to whatever day. So yeah, the game's gonna be going. So for you people out there who are trying to be positive and put out there, hey, maybe they may give us our bye week this week. They're probably going to have to play on Thursday.
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, it just really comes down to what and I feel like I saw a tweet. It's been a weird day on Twitter, and I've just kind of done my best to ignore it. I feel like
it's not been a weird day. Today's been Monday.
It's been Monday. The time. Okay, so here's the tweet I was looking for. Ian, it's a series of tweets, so bear with me. Ian Rappaport tweeted about an hour ago, Packers linebacker Kamal Martin and running back Jamal Williams are considered close contacts for running back A.J. Dillon, who tested positive for COVID-19. Both did not practice today, and the league is determining if they're a high-risk close contacts. And then I saw another one. Oh, yes. Okay, so maybe I just misread the tweet. Tom Pelissero of NFL Network tweeted, if they're determined to be a high-risk close contacts, they won't be eligible to play Thursday. Okay, so I just misread the tweet. I thought maybe they said something about the timing of the game, but never mind. Ignore me. I'm tired. I'm tired. It's been a long day.
I mean, nothing really happened today or yesterday.
Yeah. So I guess let's start with the game. We don't want to dive into it too much. I don't think anybody really wants to talk much about that football game that happened yesterday. So we're going to keep it short because a lot did happen in 49ers world. So Jason, give me your TLDR, too long didn't read, too long didn't watch, kind of opinion on what happened yesterday with the 49ers.
Team came out flat, didn't execute the game plan on both sides of the ball. You could tell that the defensive game plan on the first two drives was to get 3 and outs and put the 49ers in position to score points and take a lead in this game. Which it sounds crazy, but the 49ers did actually lead in this game at one point, which doesn't even sound like that actually happened, but it did. The 49ers were winning this game 7-6.
What's crazy is I don't believe you. And I watched the game, and now that you say that the Niners did have a lead in this game, yeah, they did.
They sure did.
They absolutely did. Oh my God, that was such a long football game.
So the first two drives are 3 and outs, right? And that's exactly what you're looking for, right? The 49ers had a chance to put, 2 drives together where they got close and got 0 points from it. They should have scored both times. Now, I don't want to understate the importance of getting off to a fast start with your defense playing well and putting the pressure on the Seahawks to have to score. It felt like after those 2 drives came up empty, we were in for a long, long day, and that's exactly what happened. So, I mean, we can nitpick everything else. I have blame to go around. Everyone gets this blame. Yeah. Kyle, Jimmy, Salah, everybody gets it. So,
yeah, it just I understand how 2020 works. If a team struggles, it's on the quarterback. That's typically how it works. I just feel like Shanahan deserves, and I just don't want this to come off that we're trashing this team because we're not. It was a bad game. The team just felt like they didn't come out hot. They didn't. They
in Seattle week.
I'm tired, man.
In Seattle week, like you showed up like that. Like, come on, man. Like it's ridiculous.
I had a feeling it was going to be a long game after that 3rd and 5 option play. I still very confused what that was. I don't know. Like it just I feel like I saw a thing because I told you I drove to Santa Rosa to watch the game with my dad, so I missed a lot of post game stuff. But I feel like I saw a thing that like Shanahan recognized it was a 0 blitz and he realized it didn't work. So like, why isn't he calling a timeout? So there's kind of small things like that. I had a feeling it was going to be a long game after that 3rd and 5 play. No, I'm not. Maybe, I'm just going to switch the hat. I'm tired already. Look, I'm not a Bills fan. I like logos. I have hockey hats. I don't watch hockey. I like sports, guys. Am I not allowed to like sports? So listen, I don't want to say this is a bad 49er team because we watched this happen in 2011, 2012, 2013, where there was very good 49er teams who went into Seattle and got their ass thoroughly handed to them. Going to Seattle is never easy, and I know it's a little easier yesterday considering there's no fans. Seattle's still a good team, and we could talk about how bad their defense is because it's a bad defense, and Nick Mullins showed that yesterday. I need to watch the All-22 before I really dive into it because I feel like the first drive, they tried to go into the center of the field quite a bit. They had a completion to Ayuk. And then they had the play to Kittle that some people said he dropped. I think that's more Garoppolo threw it a little too far. It should be a ball he catches.
Both can be true.
Both can be true.
Yeah, the ball had to be better, and he had to catch that. Both can be true.
But I feel like after that, they just kind of stopped going into the middle of the field. And that might just be me not watching the All-22. But let me say this about this game, and we could dive into other news. I like to keep notes during the games, go play by play, so I can kind of have an idea of like how many times a certain DB was thrown towards or kind of things like that. And I've been doing that since the year Garoppolo got hurt, so 2018. That was the first game I stopped midway through. I stopped following. I really stopped paying attention halfway through the third quarter.
Yeah, that game, the game was crazy, right? It was 13-6, something like that, going into the half. It might as well have been 55-6. Like that's how far the 10-point game. That don't let anybody looking from the outside in would say, oh look, the 49ers were in it. The 49ers were never in this game, really. Even like when they had their lead for a little bit, they did, but come on, they just.
The most comparable game, if you want to, because I agree exactly with what you're saying. Go look at the final score of the 49ers Rams game. The Niners won 24-16. It's technically a one possession game, but the Rams were never in that game.
No, they weren't.
There's times where the final score lies. The Niners were never really in that game. Like even when it was 7-6, I'm just sitting here like they should. Like it was one of those weird games early on where you sat there and like they're up 7-6. And I was going back and forth. I was saying, man, they should be winning this game by a lot more. But then at the same time, I was like, man, Seattle's really kicking their ass for them to be up by 1. So I was on both sides of that. DK Metcalf's good.
Yeah, man, and
that's another thing I want to say.
Right, I'm not gonna kill Emmanuel Mosley for that because there's not really anybody that can guard DK Metcalf. Stop it.
If anything, I feel like there wasn't a lot of safety help over the top, but that's neither here.
There wasn't because they're not guys that there's not really guys that can really do that. When Jimmy Ward's on the field, like he's not that type of guy. He's not going to erase all that stuff, man. But I mean, yeah. Look, the Seahawks look good now, but wait until the playoffs. The point is that they're going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love for somebody to say that about the 49ers. Like they look good now, but wait till the playoffs. Remember when we were pretenders?
Did you not see my tweet today? I already called it. Dwayne Haskins is going to hit Jordan Reed in Week 17 to clinch the final playoff spot.
I saw that. I closed out my app after that.
I figured a lot of Niner Twitter got to have bad takes today, so I figured I'd get one myself.
I mean, honestly, if nobody can tell that that's a joke, then then there's a bigger issue going on. But,
although I wouldn't be surprised if there's a new quarterback on the 49ers tomorrow or at any point. Not in a sense of a starting quarterback, in a sense of like if Garoppolo goes on the IR, I think Shanahan's going to want a third option.
Are we going to do something positive?
Yeah, why don't you start? Because I want to see where you start with this. Let's boom, something positive. Go, Jason.
Something positive. So everybody wants to say that Nick Mullins threw against prevent defenses. That's absolutely categorically wrong. Okay, Seattle didn't change up a thing. They were disguising blitzes. They were blitzing him. He threw the ball down the field. So don't let anybody tell you that Nick Mullins was throwing against a prevent defense. He actually was throwing against a defense that was trying to stop him. And what the 49ers should have been doing all game. Something positive.
Boom, positive. That Dre Greenlaw play from week 17 last year, that was pretty cool. Boom, positive. Does that count? Does that work?
That counts. It's something positive.
That's a positive. Yeah, I just it was a football game, man. Like I don't want to over break it down because we don't have the all-22 yet, at least not that I'm aware of.
It's out, but there's not much on there. If you want to bash your head against the window and see a bunch of guys running free, then go ahead.
So I guess my question for you, because you pay more attention to this, because in my eyes, the untrained eye, I feel like the playbook opens up more for Mullins. Do you see that, or is that just Mullins kind of trusting himself more than Garoppolo?
It's a little bit of the same thing. Like I feel like there was a lot of calls that were very similar that were called for Jimmy Garoppolo, but he wasn't getting off of his first read, right? So it almost feels like on his reads, he's throwing to the first read in practice, and then in the game, he's just like, screw it, that's where I'm throwing the ball right now. Obviously we find out that the injury is there or whatever, but I think he was calling the game pretty consistently because those routes that Brandon Ayuk was coming back and yelling at Jimmy Garoppolo about on being open, Mullins was throwing the ball. Look at Ayuk's route running, right? That touchdown to Ayuk, that's all Ayuk, man. That's all Ayuk, bro. Ayuk's a baller. He's such a baller. He's such a baller.
Sid, I see you up there. I was looking it up. The trade deadline is November 3rd, so tomorrow 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. East Coast time. So that is when the trade deadline is. Tomorrow
is going to be full of not just football craziness, but craziness.
Yeah. God, dude.
Yeah.
If you want to see how tired I can be, like we could talk about the other thing going on tomorrow, and you can just see how exhausted I get. But yeah, so we'll dive into the trade deadline in a bit. We wanted to start with all the negative from yesterday and today, and then we'll talk about the trade the 49ers made because I think that is a positive. I think.
Oh, hold up. Is Perk in here? Perk, what up, bro? Thank you for tuning in, man.
Hi, Perk.
He's about to get it. He's about to get at us if we say some crazy stuff. So we got to make sure we're on point here.
Click. Hypothetically, you could make unlimited amount of trades. Like,
yeah, you can.
This isn't this. I know some fantasy leagues have like trade caps, but like no, in real life, like if the Niners hypothetically wanted to tomorrow, they could flip their entire roster. They're obviously not going to. I'm just using that as a very extreme example.
You have to remember too, the Quan deal, yes, the 49ers, lose somebody who is impactful as far as, attitude and things like that on the defense. But the issue is that the 49ers have so little money that they can't even, if they wanted to call up Kevin White one more time from the practice squad, they wouldn't have the money to do it. Yeah. So one way or another, this had to happen.
We'll dive into the trade a bit more because I have all good things to say. I just kind of want to get through the garbage that happened today. And do you have anything else you want to say about the Seahawks game? Because
No. I mean, honestly, the only really good thing I could say that happens right after this is that the 49ers don't have time to dwell and sit on this win because they have to get ready immediately for Thursday. And I think that could be a good thing, right? Because if this team has to sit and stew and look, we're only going to get one session with Kyle Shanahan and Saleh this week. One, and that's tomorrow. That's it. They're not going to be in front of the cameras talking because that's just not how it's going to work. So you know what? Put your heads down, get to the game plan right now, figure out who's going to be there for this game, because it's not going to be Kittle and it's not going to be Jimmy, and figure out how to scheme this game away so we can get a win in here and at least keep things rolling a little bit. It is what it is. Just flush it. Just flush the damn game and move on.
Yeah, that's really my take, and that's why we're not going to spend it. I mean, it's partially the game was that bad yesterday, and partially because how much news kind of came across today. So I guess we'll start with the bad news. Jimmy Garoppolo, I believe he aggravated the high ankle sprain, which I just hate that word now.
Yeah.
He's going to be out at least, I think I saw 6 weeks. At least 6 weeks. And if you need surgery, it could be more. I wouldn't be surprised if he played his last snap this season. As I cough. And I'll dive into other takes I have later on. And it sounds like George Kittle's probably done for the season as well. Yeah. He's out 8 weeks with a broken foot.
I think it's a fracture in his foot. So yeah,
fracture in his foot, 8 weeks. Right. So that really changes the outlook on this season. I mean, you could have said after the Seahawks game that they're 4-4, maybe things crack right, and all of a sudden, they're the 7 seed. I think today might have been the final nail in the coffin almost for at least playoff hopes for the 2020 season. But I don't know if that's just me being negative based off yesterday as well. What do you think in terms of the injury news today?
I mean, honestly, man, the 49ers still could make the playoffs, right? But what does that mean? Like, is this team prepared to make a run, right? Like, or should this team be full on selling at the trade deadline, right? Like, it's weird. And I think the 49ers kind of are telling you what they think of their own season for them to make a move so quickly on Quan right after, like it's like the next day right after this. So yeah, I mean, I think the 49ers are kind of telling you what they feel, how they feel, moving forward. So, I mean, yes, they can make the playoffs. But realistically, what is the goal for this team? To make the playoffs, get a lower pick than they should, right? Like, so it's really weird right now. There's no way that this team's gonna lay down. That's not gonna happen. Like, this team will not quit. They're not gonna stop, playing. The games don't stop. The NFL doesn't stop just because you're banged up. Yeah. So the 49ers are gonna still have to keep playing games, and they're still gonna be playing hard. I expect them to play a lot more desperate this week as well. So 4-4 in our division, is last place, but in any other division, this team isn't as bad. So I think we all need to put context to that too as well. And then, man, it's just the injuries are catching up, man. What are you supposed to do? Like, what can you do at this point? It's almost comical.
I mean, the Kittle one is just as big of a blow as the Bosa one. Just because Kittle is the Bosa of the offense, right? He's the most important piece. He's the guy the offense pretty much runs through. And I guess in the most fitting way of how yesterday went, because the play he made to catch the ball that he got hurt on, it's a damn impressive catch. And I kind of got excited because I'm like, hey, because I think he had 3 targets up to that point.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, look what happens when you throw the ball to George Kittle. And I was pretty amped. And then I saw him limping off the field. I'm like, yeah, of course.
What's funny? What's funny about that is Nick Mullins had 2 reads on that play. He had the underneath route, which was there, which is normally what would have happened. Jimmy would have just thrown that there, but he actually floated that ball up for Kittle. Now you can say, oh, look, he got Kittle injured, but I'm talking about the throw and the placement and the read, right? So you got off your first read and then you went to him. So I think that was, so while people are upset because it got Kittle injured, I was like, wow, look at that throw. And then when you watch it on film, you're like, wow, look at him go through reads. It's almost like we're even shocked when quarterbacks do that now for us, just based off of what we've seen the last few weeks. Yeah.
I'm interested to see where the offense goes from here. You could have your opinions on Garoppolo. I'm a firm believer that the offense is worse without him.
Of course.
I think Garoppolo is obviously the best quarterback on this team, on this roster. Sure. And I don't know how that's turned into a hot take, but it's turned into one apparently. I'm curious. This is when we're going to see how good of a head coach Kyle Shanahan is. Because, I mean, let's look at the facts of the Packer game. Mostert, one of their highest usage players, is out. Deebo Samuel, one of their highest usage players, is out. Kittle's going to be out. Garoppolo's out. Coleman's out. So we're going to see what Shanahan can pull with pretty much a backup roster, or at least backup weapons. The offensive line's still healthy. As I'm going to cough again. I don't know why I'm coughing so much. You want to say something while I cough?
Yeah, I got you, man. So like, here's the thing, right? The Packers continue to be the team that they were last year, right? Like exactly exactly the same exact team from last year that can get bullied and run all over, right? Dalvin Cook just went crazy all over them. The problem is that kind of gets limited now that Kittle's not there. We all know the numbers and we all know the stats when Kittle's there and when he's not, as far as yards per carry and how this offense runs. So it stinks that this had to happen right now, because even after this loss, if Kittle's there next week, the 49ers still have a way to beat them just running the ball right now. So it's a little bit concerning if this happened right now. So the 49ers for sure can win this game. It just becomes less likely now that you've lost your best run blocker.
Kyle Shanahan seems to have the Packers figured out.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you consider the year Garoppolo tore his ACL, they almost beat them in Lambeau on Monday night
with CJ Beathard and
Beathard.
So, but you know the secret though, right? Remember, you called it out. Coach Shanahan's got to go all black and go back swaggy like that. Like that's it. That's
such a good look. Yeah. So I think it's still a winnable game, and I mean. What did Minnesota do yesterday against the Packers? They just ran the ball down the field.
Run.
And the Packers couldn't they couldn't stop it.
No.
So I expect to see the same a little bit with the Niners, and we'll dive in Wednesday. We still plan to have our show Wednesday.
It's crazy. We were talking about not having two, but look at us with two now.
Well, what's funny is so a little behind the scenes,
right?
Me, Jason, and I, we had a conversation on Friday. We're like, hey, if the Niners beat the Seahawks, we'll do a podcast Monday. We'll talk about the game because everybody's going to be excited about the win. So we were like, we're going to do a second podcast. And that's why I tweeted yesterday. You tweeted something about the game. And that's why I tweeted. I said, hey, so we'll talk Wednesday.
Yeah. Like
as kind of a way to confirm, like, no, we're not going to talk Monday. We're not going to talk today. And then, of course, we texted each other after the Quan trade. I'm like, hey, do you want to do an emergency pod for the Quan trade? And you're like, yeah, let's do it all in. And then all the news came out after, and I'm just like, I don't even want to do it anymore now. But we already announced it, so we're here. We're here on Monday.
Oh my God, is that 49ers legend Alfred Morris on my screen playing for the New York Giants tonight? Good God! All right. Sorry.
Oh my God, Alfred Morris got. Hey man, it was a real bad day for former 49ers today.
Oh my goodness,
the mantra.
Bruce Miller, Demontre Moore, who played against us and had a sack, got busted for PEDs.
Yeah.
This is a great one. Sign Josh Rosen off of a practice squad.
Yeah, I don't think they'd have to trade for him.
No, you can sign him off the practice squad for the Bucs. They haven't been protecting him.
Yeah, and as I said, like I made a Dwayne Haskins joke today, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see the Niners make a move for a quarterback at some point this week, because they're going to put Garoppolo on the IR.
Yeah.
And Shanahan feels like Shanahan's a guy who wants to have three quarterbacks on the roster. And do they have a quarterback on the practice squad, actually? And I'm going to look it up now because I'm curious. They don't. So I wouldn't be surprised. But, okay, Reaper, I got a question. Just curious, okay?
Uh-oh.
You say hell no to Rosen. My response is why not? What's it going to hurt? Because we know what Mullins is. We know what Beathard is. Why not just see what somebody else has to offer? I like that. That's kind of my question on that is why not?
Well, here's my thing too. I don't know that like I can properly evaluate Josh Rosen considering where he came from. Like Arizona was a complete dumpster fire. The same thing with Miami, right? So I don't know. Look, can Rosen be bad? For sure. But we can bring him in for nothing and then see what happens. I mean, and if he's trash, then get rid of him. Doesn't hurt anything.
That's kind of my take. Okay, I'm looking at the practice squad. No, they do not have a quarterback. Okay, just wanted to confirm. I believed you, but I was already doing it. So
that's cool.
So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Niners pull in a. Who would you rather have, Stafford or Darnold? What?
Stafford or Darnold? Because that's out there.
Is it out there?
It's out there. It's out there. See, again, I can't properly evaluate Sam Darnold. He's stuck with that idiot. Like I don't know. Sam Darnold could be good. Stafford could be good. But Stafford's got So I don't know, man. Yeah.
And I know we talk about the cap space a lot, and with the trade, They got rid of him for 2 rookies on 2 different teams. Yeah, I understand what Josh Rosen's past is, but it just doesn't hurt at this point.
There is a world there is a world where Josh Rosen stinks. There is a world there, but at this point, what are we doing? Like, why wouldn't we just take a look at him, see what happens?
And the only reason he's not on the Cardinals anymore is because they got, if they never hire Cliff Kingsbury, like you want to dive into a totally different universe. If the Cardinals never bring in Cliff Kingsbury, Kyler Murray's not on the Cardinals, which means Nick Bosa's on the Cardinals, which means the Niners have Quinnen Williams or Josh Allen or whoever you want. And Josh Rosen is the quarterback for the Cardinals still. So like I don't think it has nothing to do with the talent Rosen has. And now he's with the Buccaneers. And why would the Buccaneers need him on the active roster? They have Tom Brady.
And they have Blaine Gabbert.
And does Blaine Gabbert still? Oh my God, I'm too tired for this, man. I'm too tired. So like, listen, I understand what your opinion is on Rosen. I get if you say he sucks, if he's good, just why not? Why not have a roster spot for him at least? Like, I'm not saying sign Josh Rosen tomorrow and have him be the starter on. I guess he'd be the starter in week against the Saints because he wouldn't be able to play for the Niners this week. I'm not calling for that. I'm just saying the Niners are going to sign. They're going to bring in a third quarterback one way or the other. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I'm not advocating for.
And Jordan, look, Mullins is better than Rosen.
Yeah, I'm not advocating for Josh Rosen to be the starter next week. Yeah. Although I did want to ask you this: have I ruined you to a point, Jason, that when the report came out that the Niners were trading Quan Alexander to the Saints for a pick and a player,
I thought it was Jameis?
Did I get you to that point?
I was like, oh my God, they sent us Jameis.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping I knew it wasn't going to be Jameis, but I was kind of hoping it was Jameis.
I saw people saying, they're sending us back Emmanuel Sanders. I'm like, he has COVID. They're not sending him anywhere.
Yeah, I would be wearing my Florida State hat, but I would be yelled at, apparently, because if I don't wear a Niner hat, it's bad.
That's what you get.
I changed it because everybody, they're going to get real mad at the Red Sox shirt, but I'm also not a Red Sox fan. I like sports, guys. No, so do we want to, I mean, if you guys, I guess this is the point where I'm going to throw in, if you guys have any questions for us,
let's do it.
Shoot them our way. But let's talk about the trade that happened today. The San Francisco 49ers sent Quan Alexander to the New Orleans Saints in exchange for, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank, Kiko Alonso and a conditional 5th round pick. And I don't want to dive in and talk about what people's opinions on Quan Alexander are. I don't want to dive in and talk about how he was overpaid, because that is not his fault one bit. The Niners offered him a contract. He signed the contract. If you want to complain about his contract, bring it up with the Niners.
This is a good question, and this is a good question. I don't know what the condition is.
I have not seen that. I'm gonna look it up.
Is it that Quan has, no, I don't even think it's out. Is it that Quan has to play a certain amount of games, snaps, something like that? Like, I don't know what that condition is, and that's a great point, Sid. I don't know.
I'm gonna read the Athletics article about the trade. And
do y'all know when Kiko Alonso will play? He's hurt, right? Honestly, like, Kiko Alonso is pretty much just like a throw-in, and they were just like, whatever, like, and he's going to be a depth piece. So, if that was the condition for them to take Quan's contract, then it's like, okay, just send him over here. It'll be fine. He has an expiring deal, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, and we've answered questions about what the Niners are going to do with the trade deadline, and this isn't what I expected them to do. I didn't expect. Have we even heard whispers about Quan Alexander being on the block?
So apparently it all came out today that since the Super Bowl, the 49ers have been on and off with the Saints and certain teams about it. I see, again, as soon as the loss happens, then automatically it's like, okay, now we move them, so that's.
And this is another thing. We talk about the 49ers because anytime, a big name gets traded, or anytime a big name's available, like Jamal Adams, like Odell Beckham, like players like that, and there's always, the Niners are interested, and then they never get them. And now all of a sudden the Niners trade Quan Alexander after no whispers. The Niners don't let anything out. This isn't Trent Baalke. This isn't Trent Baalke's Niners. Nothing gets leaked. But yeah, so Kiko Alonso, I don't think he's going to play much, if at all, for the 49ers. What this was a trade for an expiring contract. And I'm sure there's a lot. I'm reading tweets right now. The 49ers will take on 6.9 in dead money, nice, next year, and will have wound up paying about $23.5 million for 13 games. Was very risky and surprising deal when signed. So smart to bail and save a few dollars for the season. A very interesting trade for the Saints. Should only owe Alexander about $3 million for the year. And they'll also save about $900K by getting rid of Alonso, so just $2 million. Alexander has only $2 million in injury protection left, so they can walk away next year with no cap issue. So it was a good trade for the Saints. But what the big thing for the Niners is and this is just me looking at the basic numbers. I'm not going to try and pretend like I am a cap expert because I am nowhere near that. The Niners the Niners backloaded the Quan Alexander deal quite a bit. They owed him $24 million $24 million combined for the last 2 years of the contract in terms of cap hit. So what that does is that now opens up, in my mind, $12 million. And I think Chris Biederman of the Sack Beat tweeted out that the Niners had about $9 million in cap space after the season. So that goes up to about $21 million. And now you're looking at guys the Niners need to extend. Fred Warner, he's a guy that should be looking at an extension. Trent Williams, he's a guy that should be looking at an extension. So now the Niners are opening up cap space. And now if you really want to get into it, this is my Garoppolo take. If you do choose to get rid of him, you're there opening up $24 million more dollars in cap space, because I think Garoppolo's cap hit next year is 26, but if they release him, his dead cap hit is $2 million. So now you're looking at the Niners might actually have some money to play with to extend guys. They're going, if they get rid of Garoppolo, I don't think it's going to be a free agent signing, because I don't think, to me, it wouldn't make sense that you're going to turn around and get rid of Garoppolo and that cap hit to sign a Kirk Cousins and take a massive cap hit. I think if they get rid of Garoppolo, I think we're looking at a first round pick on a quarterback.
Yeah, the quarterback for this team, if they decide to move off of Jimmy, the quarterback for this team going forward is not on this team.
Yes.
Right now. It's not on this team. That's it. So I think it's pretty much, here's the good thing about this, right? If the 49ers want to move off of Jimmy, right? His play is tied to this ankle. So his trade value isn't exactly in the basement, right? As people are saying. There is somebody out there that'll look and say, his ankle was messed up. We can get him over here and we can, people, his value's low, but it's not in the basement because he has this ankle injury, which everybody's attributing to the play, So the 49ers have an interesting decision to make. I'm not going to, like I said, here's what I'll say about this. I am not on either side of Garoppolo being here, not being here. What I do know is he's the quarterback of this team and the best quarterback on this team. What I will say is this is the last year that Jimmy Garoppolo will be on this team. That's it.
Yeah, and I don't want to speculate. Listen, if you want our opinions on the Jimmy Garoppolo situation in terms of where he's going to be next year, come watch us in 4 months for the offseason shows. We're not going to sit here and speculate what they're actually doing. I'm just talking at hypotheticals that if
that's not a bad idea though.
That's not a bad idea.
That's not a bad idea. I don't have a problem with that idea of him being there, if you want to be a bridge and you want to have somebody sit behind. Yeah, I'm all with it. But that cap number's got to come down.
Yep, and they're going to have to get creative. And the deal today was their first step of getting the cap number. And who knows? They may another possible outcome is maybe restructuring a contract. I know they've already done it. Maybe they try and restructure it again and see what they can do. I don't think that's going to happen, because at some point a player is going to sit back and say, why am I taking less money when I could? But then again, at the same time, if the Niners cut him, they don't owe him that much. So it works either way. I don't want to speculate much on what they're going to do with Garoppolo. I'm just pointing out the fact that they freed up $12 million in cap space for next season, and they have an opportunity to free up $24 more million. That's really where I wanted to go with that.
Right.
The show was more fun to do when we were talking about wins. I'm just going to throw that out there.
For sure. I mean, look, everybody, people don't understand that, right? So a lot of people got into the content creating game last year during a Super Bowl run. It's super easy to be excited about this team when things are going well. Yeah. Well, we're going to find out real quick who are the ones who are really about this content because it's not easy to wake up. Like today, I was on a few shows today. It's the same questions over and over. People are anxious all the time on the timeline right now, arguing with each other. It's just like it's a strange time. It's just this dud couldn't have happened at a worse time against a worse team.
Yeah,
seriously.
Yeah, we really wanted to believe that after the Rams and Patriots games that, hey, this team's back. And now all of a sudden we're just kind of back to the feeling of after the Dolphins game of just they didn't stand a chance yesterday.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks, man. It does. I think also what I learned is that I think I'm a little bit dead on the inside. I think the Super Bowl broke me because I don't feel anything. I don't feel sad, like I don't know, man. I think that once you've been hurt the way that I was hurt when I was in Miami for that game.
Oh, you went? I didn't know you went. Did you go to the game?
I didn't go to the game. I just went to Miami. Screw that. Yeah. Oh, if I would have went to the game, I would have been in jail. But yeah, I went down to Miami for it. So it's like once that happens and you had your heart ripped out, like nothing else can hurt you anymore. So
yeah. Big Dez, can they restructure Ward's contract? They hypothetically can restructure anybody's contract.
They can. But here's the thing. Again, why would he do that? Right? Like you only have a certain amount of pay time, times to be paid, right? And it's like, why would you do that unless they're going to outright release you? So I don't know, man. There's a lot. The 49ers have to do a lot of wheeling and dealing with a lot of people's contracts. The Jimmy Ward one is one that people felt like they went overpaid for, so it's this is going to be a long discussion that's going to continue. And I think that the more that we get the results and the information from what's happening in the games, the more we'll start to figure out the overall direction with this team going forward in the next year or so.
And then actually also too, Daniel, they have not restructured Jimmy's contract. Did I just make something up? I feel like did they restructure Jimmy's contract? Did I make something up?
No.
No, they didn't. Okay, then
it was D Ford. They did D Ford and they
maybe
did
it was
Quan.
D Ford.
They shifted or they
maybe
shifted
I got
around.
people. I apologize. Then I got people mixed up.
And they did Laken Tomlinson's too. Laken Tomlinson's. They converted it over to a signing bonus or something like that. So it created some cap. Yeah.
Okay, then I got it. I apologize. I got that mixed up.
Are you good?
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see where everything goes from here because I mean, it's just crazy. Like that's why I really hate it and obviously nothing good. Like this isn't me talking bad about the fan base because I don't blame you one bit for saying, hey, they almost won a Super Bowl last year. They're going to be back. This is why you can never make that assumption.
I hated that. I yelled at 49er fans in Miami right after the game. Oh, don't worry. Run it back. Yeah, run it back. Do you understand what this league is and how hard it is to do that? Do you understand that there's no repeat champions and how long? Or people that even make the Super Bowl back-to-back years? Like, it's a nice idea, and I think the front office got complacent with that idea of just running it right back with the same team and getting back to where they were. But now you see how hard it is when things like this happen, when all the injuries happen.
And that's what makes Harbaugh's run so much more impressive. Like, the fact they made 3 consecutive NFC Championship games, it's hard. This is not easy. The football's not easy. This one thing goes wrong, and I mean, you look at, I guess a bad example is like the Cowboys, right? Like, You could pretend that, I know that defense is horrendous. The second Dak Prescott goes down, that team went from, hey, they could stumble into winning the NFC East, and now there's just no chance. And just one bad thing happens. And the Niners, they took that one bad thing and they just blew the door open. They're like, no, we're going to have 9 bad things happen. And you want to hear the scariest thing about this season, Jason? I just realized we're only at the halfway point.
Yeah. It's
we've only played half the games.
Yeah, it's week 8. Yeah, man. But here's the thing, right? Look again. There is no break. The NFL doesn't say, "Oh, you're super banged up. We're gonna send you the Jets instead of playing the Packers." Figure it out and keep going. This league's not gonna stop for you because you're banged up. That's it. And I'm tired of the. Oh, we're so banged up. Yeah, we are. Everybody is. But come on, make a good showing. Go forward with the team that you have. Coach these guys up. And that's the part that I get mad about Kyle this week because I feel like Kyle was just like, yeah, whatever. Watch me not scheme all this open for him. Watch me not cover up these flaws. Watch me let him sink or swim by himself. You know, like, and that's sometimes where I get my complaints about Shanahan. He's a genius, yes. Is he a dick sometimes? Yes. Sorry, didn't mean to curse, but yeah,
No. Sorry.
He acts like a jerk sometimes, and you can tell. Like the other thing is right after the press conference, right? What did he say? Oh, what happened with Jimmy Garoppolo's injury? Oh, you're gonna have to ask him about that. What? What, bro? Stop talking about your quarterback that way. Only Bill Belichick gets away with talking to his quarterback in any way and having that, you know, like, dude. Put your arms around the guy, and to me, it's clear that he doesn't want him.
These are like, and it could just be a Shanahan thing where he's not great at hiding things, which is fine, right? Like people, but sometimes you just have to play the press game, back up your quarterback, and then have these conversations behind closed doors.
Bro, that's what I'm saying, man. Like there's nothing wrong with coach speak. Sometimes those stupid cliches, they work.
Yeah, and I agree. Sorry, I was looking something up because Jimmy Garoppolo up here, Jimmy G. My dad mentioned something. Apparently, the NFL is considering a 16-team playoff if games are missed due to COVID. I missed this as well, but I was Googling it. And according, a loss of NFL regular season games could result in an expanded playoff field. While no NFL games have yet been canceled due to the coronavirus pandemic, the NFL Competition Committee expects to present a resolution to the league, league's 32 owners, based on having a 16-team playoff if games were lost due to COVID-19, according to ESPN's Chris Mortensen.
Legit. Let me ask the people that are in here in this quote, because I want to see in the chat. Please answer this question for me. Realistically, I know we're all 49ers fans. Realistically, do the 49ers make a playoff run and get bounced in the first, second round, right? Because they're missing so many pieces? Or do you want a higher draft pick? Come on. Like,
okay,
what is it?
I have a hot take on that.
Go ahead.
If the Niners somehow make the playoffs, the timetable, if there's no surgery for Garoppolo, is 6 weeks. The timetable for Kittle is 8 weeks. So now you're going into the playoffs with a hypothetically 100% healthy offense, barring injuries. And Jesus, like, we can't bar injuries at this point. But let's just play the like no injuries ever exist again.
Okay.
You could be, and I'm mainly playing devil's advocate, right? I just want to like talk about this. Is if we play the 100% good luck on health, we're talking about a healthy offense. Obviously, Bosa's not coming back. Obviously, you know, certain pieces aren't going to be coming back. But if I told you that the Niners get Garoppolo back and Kittle back for the playoffs, and I'm saying 100% healthy Garoppolo, 100% healthy Garoppolo, none of this limping, none of this is he hurt, isn't he hurt? I'm talking 2019 version of Jimmy Garoppolo. Do you feel more confident?
I mean, I would, because anything can happen. I mean, Nick Foles won a damn Super Bowl, so you know, like that doesn't mean that, you know, that it's just realistically, right? Like can you really see them making a, like, I mean, here's the thing though, and this is where I get caught being back and forth with this discussion myself, because I haven't figured it out. But I'm looking at the NFC. Seattle winning yesterday doesn't make me think that they're good now or that they're great, right? They're a good football team, but they're not exactly like light years ahead of us. The Saints are whatever. The Packers are the same team from last year. The Rams are trash. Arizona can be beat. I'm trying to figure out where exactly in the NFC besides the Bucs should we be really and the Bucs right now are losing to the Giants. I'm trying to figure out who exactly the 49ers should be scared of if they were to make the playoffs, right? So this is the part that even I myself am going back and forth on. It's like, you know, if this team finds a way to get hot, it's about who gets hot getting into the playoffs. And remember, there's going to be no fans. There's no home field advantage. So toss all that out. You're going to have to win on the road almost every week. And even if you're playing at home, you're playing on the road because there's no home field advantage. None. So it's like, there's too much here.
So if we let's pretend that we have breaking news. The NFL has added an 8th playoff team, each seed or each conference. Let's just pretend. Right. The Niners are currently 9 seed, 1 game behind the Bears. 1 game behind the Bears. So are they better than the Bears? with as they currently stand today, is this 49er team better than the Bears?
They better be. And yes, I think they are.
As it currently stands, are they better than the Rams?
Yes.
As it currently stands, are they better than the Buccaneers? I'm just listing the teams in front of them
The
in
Bucks,
terms of wild card.
The Bucks, that's tougher because the Bucks actually have a really good defense, but it's not a gap. It's not like us against, like it's not 2019 Niners or the Jets. That's not the gap. That's not the gap.
And then the last one would be is the Niners as they stand better than the Cardinals / Seahawks? Depends who's in second place in this division. So we're realistically talking about a Niner team because I'm gonna put in the playoffs as of this second. 6 teams are shoo-ins to me, and that is the Seahawks, the Packers, the Saints, whoever the hell wins the NFC East, because you have to put one of them in.
The Eagles.
We'll call it the Eagles. I'll put the Buccaneers in, so I'll say 5 are guaranteed right now.
The Bucks are in. Yeah, the Bucks are in.
So you're talking about 3 playoff spots between, as of right now, the Cardinals, the Rams, the Bears. I'll throw the Lions in there, and I'll throw the Panthers in there. Just because it's too early to really eliminate those teams.
And the 49ers still have games with the Rams, with Arizona, and with Seattle, and New Orleans. So if it's going to start, it's got to start Thursday.
It has to start right away. Like, this isn't a thing where they can lose to the Packers, they can lose to the Saints, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, we can turn it around. No, this has to start right now. And I know it's uncertain. I am not sitting here saying that the Niners are going to make the playoffs in an 18 field. I am not saying that. I am saying that there is a very outside shot they can, because of the sheer amount of teams that are making. We're talking about half of each conference is making the playoffs if there is an 8th team added. But then when you get to the playoffs, you hypothetically have a healthy Garoppolo, and you hypothetically have a healthy George Kittle, a healthy Mostert, a healthy offense, hypothetically. So, yes, is it going to be a long, hard road to make the playoffs as it currently stands right now? Absolutely. But if they get in, they could be healthy. Listen, I'll put my standpoint out right now because I'm saying a lot of this in just to be a devil's advocate. I would say percent chance the Niners make the playoffs at this second. I'm going to say 25%.
I was going to say 35%. But
so let's middle it out and call it a 1/3 chance, 33% chance.
So here's the thing, though. But the more I talk through it, the more I start to feel like, as long as the 49ers don't play like they did yesterday, that they're going to be in all these games. Like I said, they win on Thursday, then everything changes, and everything all of a sudden becomes, because who's after them? It's the Saints, and then it's right back to the Rams again, right?
They come off the bye, and I think
it's
the Rams. The bye, then the Rams, then the Bills, and then all of a sudden it gets a little easier because you go back-to-back Washington football team, Dallas, and then you go Arizona, Seattle.
Hey, look, crazier things have happened. Nick Foles won a Super Bowl.
Okay, let's put this in just absolute positive, okay?
Let's keep being positive. I like it.
Let's pretend the 49ers beat the Packers.
Okay.
That drops the Packers to 5-3, moves the Niners to 5-4. Now let's say they beat the Saints. That moves the Niners to 6-4. That probably puts them in the top 8 if we're going to say top 8 teams make the playoffs.
Right.
6-4 going into the bye week. Then you have the Rams, okay? And that's where I'm going to stop my hypothetical. I'm just saying, if you're 6-4 somehow going into the Rams, you can't pretend like it's not a possibility. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. I mean, it's out there. It's out there. The thing that's got me at least feeling like it's possible is that I've watched all these other teams play, right? Right now, the Bucks are losing to the New York Giants.
What's 7-3? Is it still 7-3? Okay.
7-3, but the Giants are driving, and the Seahawks, again, that game was laid out for us to win. It just took too long for the offense to get in motion. The Rams, like we said, that game wasn't as close. The Cardinals, we completely beat ourselves in that game. The Saints, they really can't push the ball down the field. Like, Michael Thomas still hasn't played. There's a lot going on right now. Week to week. Every single week, beat the person in front of you, and it looks like the 49ers are going to have a really good shot at controlling their own destiny because they're playing all the teams that are right in front of them that they're going to have to move over and jump over. So win your games.
And Big Dez, we're not trying to get your hopes up. We're just playing.
Yes, we are.
Sure. Jason is. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate on this.
Yes, we are. No, yes, we are, because we want you guys tuning in and seeing how happy we are after wins.
Listen,
it's there. It's right there in front of them, right? So if this team comes out on Thursday and punches Green Bay right in the face, the narrative switches. It completely switches. So let's see, man. Nick Mullins is gonna have his shot again, right? And it's crazy. One bad game, and we just tossed him aside, including myself. But what happens if he comes out and he plays well this week?
Listen,
Cousins was throwing the ball on them.
I'm just gonna say this.
Let's get on the train's in the station. You got to get on because they're not selling tickets at any other station. You get on here.
I'll say this: if they can keep their head above water for when Mostert gets back.
That's the thing. I think when if Debo's able to play against the Saints and we have a win and we're moving that way, and then Mostert winds up getting healthy, Debo is more important to this offense than anybody ever knew.
Yeah.
It's so crazy how throws beyond the line of scrimmage, when Debo's not there, the offense goes non-existent. Crazy.
Yeah.
I love you, Melissa. And the same thing, Des.
I've made my opinion very clear on this. I think Raheem Mostert is the offensive system.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that this team puts up a lot of points when Mostert's in there, and they struggle to move the ball when he's not.
Yeah. Here's something. I think regardless, I think that we're not going to see Jimmy this year anymore. I don't think, man. I really don't. I don't think so. I think this is it. I think especially if Mullins plays well, I think this is it. Honestly, I don't know, man. It's so uncertain right now. It really is.
I'm gonna say no to that because you saw how quick Shanahan was to pull Mullins against the Eagles and bring in Beathard. The only time he's pulled Garoppolo is due to health concerns.
Right.
So I think Shanahan and listen, my opinion. I don't know why I'm wearing my headphones like this. My opinion is, and my opinion could easily change on this if Mullins does win a few games. But I'm saying at this point, if Nick Mullins gets the Niners to a playoff spot, I think Garoppolo is still the starter in a hypothetical playoff game.
So here's the thing, right? Mullins was garbage against the Eagles. That was one game, right? So CJ Beathard almost beat the Packers in Green Bay. It's not crazy. If the 49ers run the ball all over the Packers and limit what Mullins has to do, it's not crazy. Packers can't stop a nosebleed.
Nick Mullins isn't going to beat the Packers. If the 49ers beat the Packers, it's going to be the run game.
Yeah.
And also too, wait, what'd I say? I don't know. I'm not trying to be funny. Is this a comedy show? No. Listen, Melissa, I understand what you're saying about that, but I think yes, I whether Kyle does want Jimmy back or not, that could be a thing. I think the driving factor of whether Garoppolo's here or not is the $24 million in cap space they can save. I think that's the driving factor.
Right. That's all the issue, right? So, I think that's the reason that he's held to this high standard. It's like, man, $27 million is like, it's time for you to lift the franchise up when it's time.
That's a point I wanted to make about Quan Alexander is Quan Alexander's a very solid football player.
Yeah.
We always compared him to that contract, and that's not his fault. That's what the Niners offered him. He chose to sign it.
And it's the same thing that we said about Solomon Thomas, right? Like, he didn't draft himself high.
Yeah, no.
Eric
Armstead. It's not Eric Armstead's fault that he got offered the contract they gave him.
Right. That they decided to pay him.
That. So, I understand, being upset. Quan Alexander's a very good football player.
He is.
Quan Alexander's a very good football player, and I think we're going to see his importance in the locker room being missing. We already saw Jerick McKinnon tweet his displeasure with the
DJ Jones too.
DJ Jones, I understand the football business side, the from a business standpoint, the Quan Alexander trade makes a ton of sense. From a locker room standpoint, it's a little questionable. It's a little questionable because he was a leader. I mean, the Hot Boys was his thing. The Revenge Tour was his thing. Like Quan Alexander was a big part of this locker room, and it makes sense why they moved him. But it also, in terms of locker room impact, it doesn't. So
yeah, I mean, and then the thing is that he's great in coverage, right? Like great. And that's the thing Greenlaw is not good in. So it's like, when we say that, we have Greenlaw, it's not because Greenlaw is exactly the better player right now, but he's the much cheaper one at this point.
Cheaper, and he has a higher ceiling.
Right. So that's the thing. It's like, okay, can we fix him in this way? Like, and let's put it out there. Dre didn't really have a good game this week. He took a lot of odd angles and, but there was plenty of things that I could get upset. Like, the play with Al-Shair not going to Eric Armstead has contained. DJ Dallas is running past him and he passes him off as if he's in his zone. That infuriated me. And Jason Verrett went right over and got right in his face about it. It's like, dude, that's a simple call. That's not something complicated. All you had to do was stay with your man and let Eric Armstead contain Russell Wilson. And it was small and it was indicative of how the team was playing. And the coaching had to be like, has to be held to, hold their feet to the fire a little bit for how this team came out in Seattle week, super flat.
Yeah. So, listen, I'm going to
something positive. Go. Something positive. Go. You got something positive.
I was going to say something positive. We started this podcast talking about how we're not excited, and we somehow ended convincing ourselves that, hey, this Niner team can make the playoffs. Boom, positive.
Boom, positive. Other positives, those jerseys that they wore yesterday is the last time that we're going to see them, so enjoy that. It's still the coldest jersey. Still coldest jersey in the league, though. Still coldest jersey in the league. It does feel like a negative.
Ooh, positive. The aesthetic of the Niners red jerseys with the Packers yellow and white and green, it's real pretty.
Yeah,
that's something. I like jersey matchups like that. The last week when the Falcons played, JaMychal Hasty got a touch. I started him in fantasy yesterday. That was
nice
cool.
job. I started McKinnon and I got rewarded.
I really like jersey like aesthetics. Like when the Falcons played the Lions last week, the Falcons wore their gradient jerseys, the red into the black, and the Lions wore their grays, and it was just not good. But like go back and watch Niner Packer playoff games when it was Favre versus Young. You can't tell me that's not a pretty jersey combination where the Niners and the Niner red and the Packer yellow just pop.
Right. Let's see. This is true, right? 4-4. Been in all the games except for the Miami game and the Seattle game, man. It's true, man. I mean, but I like this, man. I like you guys. You guys are getting me hyped now.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a long few days. So I mean, do we think Tico is gonna be okay? Nah, I don't think he's playing this week, Melissa. Unfortunately, when it's the knee that he was just off of re-injury with gets injured and a short week, you're going to see Hasty and you're going to see McKinnon and maybe Walter off the practice squad.
Yeah, and we'll have more answers. We're going to have a show on Wednesday still to
we are.
The Packer game. So we're going to have more answers. We kind of wanted to focus. This was an emergency podcast. We weren't even really going to touch on the Seahawks game, to be honest, on Wednesday.
It was his knee. The same knee, I think.
Same knee. Okay. Yeah. So we weren't even really planning to touch on the Seahawks. We decided to do this today because of all the news that happened today.
Yeah.
But we will 100% be back Wednesday 5:30 to preview the 49er Packer game.
Yeah. Perk, you got to pull up for one of these shows, bro. So we'll send you the link. We're gonna talk. I'm gonna DM you and everything. We'll get you on here. I think we need your sort of unfiltered 49ers talk, so Andrew, for the people on 49ers Twitter that are here, right?
Yeah.
Perk is our guy for something that's called Rep That Shit. So if you catch yourself on a timeline in a dope fit like this sweater and Perk gets a hold of it, he's gonna blast it out, rep that shit. And that's what Perk does, man. And also he's also the eviscerator of other teams' fan bases. So Grim Reaper that's what it is. That's what it is. So shout out to Perk for joining, man. I appreciate you, bro. Everybody knows. Look, I'm Jack for Thursday. Look, here it is. That's exactly what it is. If you catch yourself in a dope fit and you want to take a picture real quick, boom, you're gonna get hit that right there. Look, Green Bay fans got me banned. Yeah, Perk was going bad on them all last year. But yeah, man. So we'll be back Wednesday. To talk and everything as well. It felt necessary to talk about all this just because, so many moving parts, a lot of the injury news and stuff like that. But yeah, man, like you guys got me hyped now. Like I want to go watch Green Bay's film and I want to point out exactly where we can beat them. You know, I had somebody on one of the other shows like, oh, you did that film breakdown and you showed where to attack the corners, but they didn't do it. Well, unfortunately, we're not in on the game plan.
Yeah, we don't have any bearing. Listen, I'm going to say this. If I had any bearing on what the 49ers did, they would be 0-8 right now. So let's just
oh, my God. But yeah.
So we will see you guys on Wednesday, and Golden Dome or 73, one game at a time. That's what it is at this point.
That's it.
We're not worried about New Orleans yet. We're not worried about the bye week right now. It's as a variant of what Bill Belichick said. We're on to Green Bay.
I would be a sick play caller. I would be like, yo, jet sweep the Debo. Run it again.
Well, no, dude, my secret. So the secret is, and this 100% works in the NFL because it works in Madden, is you run the screenplay to one side, get like 15 yards, and then just flip the play, do the exact same thing, and just do that all the way down the field.
Boom. And then we get that kid from Little Giants, the annexation of Puerto Rico. Boom. Done. Done.
Done.
All right, let's get out of here. Thank you guys.
As always, we appreciate you guys. Jason, go 49ers, huh?
Let's go Niners. That's it. It's always that. Always that.
We'll see you guys Wednesday at 5:30.
Later.